Welcome to Game 6 of the Disc Northwest Tier 206 Tour. We are coming at you from Arlington, Virginia. We've got the Seattle Voyagers playing the U20 girls team from Arlington Rogue. We are so excited to be here tonight. My name is Abby Abramovich.
And I'm Casey Ikeda, and I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors right now. Thank you, Disc Northwest, for promoting growth in the sport of Ultimate and instilling the spirit of sportsmanship at all levels. Also provided by the Got Your Back Seattle Club teams. Aria Disc, precision disc technology for a world of difference. 5 Ultimate, the premier provider of ultimate apparel and gear. Play hard, have fun. Cut Camp, an overnight summer camp for high school age players who want to learn from the best coaches in the world. Go there. Game Point Performance, online training tips and programs for ultimate athletes. Train, recover, repeat. Friction Gloves, consistent grip in all conditions. Spikeball, join the movement. And Fulcrum Media Group, we exist to share stories that matter. Abby, we got another scorcher out here. Hot weather, on turf. What are you doing to take care of your body and also mentally prepare for this kind of condition?
Well, as a commentator so far, I've been drinking Pedialyte today just to make sure I stay hydrated up in the booth. It is hot. It is humid out here. We are playing on turf. It is going to be a hot day for these players. We know that they've done a great job. They got to go out and see Washington, D.C. a little bit today, but did a great job of staying inside, staying in that air conditioning. Again, they're recovering from their previous games that they've had so far. We've seen the Seattle team play multiple games already on this hot turf, especially yesterday, and to be able to bounce back after another long drive and play again with this small roster is going to be challenging.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm thinking as a coach and as a player, efficiency. Kind of those small errors, yes, turn into long points, turn into multiple cuts, not to get impatient and play really efficient ultimate, whether that's on offense or defense, that there's no wasted energy, because come point 8 and 9 and you've run 4 other extra 70s that you didn't have to run, that really just takes the legs out of you on a hot day like this.
Yeah, I think it's got to be a focus from the beginning, from point 1. We know that it's difficult to start a game because sometimes you're nervous, you're in a new environment, you're maybe coming rushed off the bus, figuring out your warm-up in a new area, so you've got to be ready to go from point number 1 to have these efficient points to save some of your legs on these hot days. But we're super excited to see this this Washington, D.C. team, U20 Rogue, having a lot of success in the past. We know that they went to a club tournament this past weekend and went 3-3 against adults. And talking to some of their players before the game, it sounds like they're super excited to see this Seattle team.
Yeah, and the Seattle Rogue rivalry goes way back, and even though each team feels like a different crop, I mean, Rogue lost 15 or graduated 15 seniors last year, but this program continues to turn out fantastic players, and I'm just so excited to see how the new culture of Rogue kind of evolves. Right, when you lose 15 seniors, it's tough, but at the same time you get to kind of build your own culture and identity. And talking to their coach, they're talking about this really fun and joy and kind of team mentality. It's not a superstar driven team, it's about, as a team we build together, and that's really exciting, super fun to watch and be a part of.
Definitely. And something that's really exciting is with these YCC teams, we're seeing U17 teams, we're seeing mixed teams. So even though they lost many players from last year, they were able to pull multiple people from their U17 players they've been developing for a long time, players who are familiar with this Rogue program, and players from their mixed team that are also stepping up and playing with this U20 girls team right now.
And there's the pull right now. It looks like Rogue is going into a side stack. Seattle in person, looking a little just pretty tight, more matchup than they have in past. A little overthrow up line, and now Seattle with the disc at half line, looking for their first break of the game.
It'd be exciting to see if Seattle is able to convert on this first opportunity, first possession with them, as we see a floaty disc.
Big time D. Taylor getting up and over, really doing a fantastic job of body control, but focusing on the disc and getting that D. Again, with a side stack, moving the disc towards the middle, It's always tricky when the stack is on where the disc is. Rogue's going to look a lot dangerous when they get the disc in the middle now and start going cutter to cutter. Great up line cut, though. Disc swung back to the side. Back to the middle. Rogue gaining excellent yards underneath. Great setup cut by the Rogue player. Again, swinging back to the middle. Oh, just off the fingertips. You know, it's these early season kind of, or like butterflies, early point butterflies. It's hot. There's a crowd. There's streaming from Fulcrum Media. There's all these other things, and sometimes you forget to play Ultimate.
Yeah, and there is a little bit of a breeze today. It's not always here, but it's picking up at times and just taking advantage of some of these throws as we see a deep shot from Seattle. And an easy follow into the end zone. You always love to see that as a coach on the field, seeing your players following the disc whenever there's an away shot happening. Someone is continuing to run, not waiting to see if they catch it, but trusting that they'll catch it. We see the throw go up there. A great outside in forehand to the Seattle player downfield. Gabby Peyoyo, definitely a player to watch out for on this team as she hits Laura Toe in the end zone for Seattle.
And two big-time players for Seattle, Gabby and Laura. Laura usually using her throws or lefty kind of backhand breaks and just kind of using her wily leftiness. But this time you can see her using her speed, and Gabby all over the highlight reel this whole tournament. So big-time break. It's always fun to come out in a game and get a first break, kind of relieve some of that pressure. Maybe I'm more of a D mentality player, but I love being on D early. You just kind of get to run out those butterflies and be on an O. It's kind of like, well, I have to be calm, but also I'm very nervous. So it's really fantastic to just kind of like get a first break and get your feet underneath you in the game.
Definitely. It's a big boost of confidence for the Seattle team being able to start off with a break. We got to look at the coaching staff from from both of these teams so far. An incredible coaching staff for both squads. We've seen Amanda Kostick and Taylor Hartman doing a fantastic job. The Rogue team is coached by Fred Wolf, Kelly Ross, and Chance Cochran. An interesting thing about this DC Rogue team is that Kelly Ross is their offensive coordinator, while Chance is their defensive coordinator. It's not necessarily something you see in Frisbee that often. Casey, what are your thoughts on that coaching style?
Well, and first, before we get into that coaching style, I want to give a big shout out to Chance for winning a gold medal with the World's team, U24 team, just this morning. I know it was at 5 a.m. streaming, but congratulations. The Rogue team wanted to let you know that they all woke up super early, Chance, and watched you. So hopefully you're watching the stream. But I really love this kind of offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator style, especially if you have kind of set lines. It takes off some pressure of like, okay, what offense are we running? You just get to kind of sit and be like, this is kind of the defensive scheme. You can kind of scout. 3 years ago, I was an offensive coordinator for the YCC boys team, and that was the first time I did it, and I really enjoyed it. I really got to kind of deep dive into think offense, and it kind of simplified my thinking as a coach.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting style. As we see Seattle break again, an unfortunate error for this DC Rogue team. We saw a drop on one of their swing passes, so yet to build too much momentum on offense. And we see Seattle pick up the disc and go. We saw some great handler movement here with the disc. We're seeing this wide swing to the other side of the field. It's tough to recover from that. And able to hit number 37 on Seattle in the end zone. A fantastic job by the Seattle team so far, being able to convert on these break opportunities.
And you can see the Seattle coaches just running out with these towels, spray bottles, and everything. If you can't tell on stream, it is hot out here. The players are really trying to make sure that they take care of themselves. We might see some heat timeouts. We might just see some timeouts to catch your breath and cool down. It's really important to take care of yourself, whether you're an ultimate player or just a coach. Sometimes you think so much about the X's and O's, but just getting calm and cool and making sure you have water, you're hydrating, make sure that your brain works. And we want to make sure, especially with these young athletes, that nobody gets hurt. You know, more than anything, more than the amazing play we see out here, we want to make sure that all these players are safe. And we really appreciate the coaches and also the players making sure that they take care of themselves.
Yeah, and another shout out to Fulcrum Media. It is hot out here. We commentators are sweating in this booth. We've got, I don't know, 7, 8 fans running up here trying to keep us cool, but also trying to keep the equipment cool. It's a very, very challenging thing to do on this hot afternoon. So any technical difficulties that you see, know that we are trying our hardest to keep this equipment cool. As we see a deep shot from DC Rogue into the end zone and able to hang on to it.
Margot running it down, and this is where you got to see kind of the power of the side stack. It going cutter to cutter, gaining 20 yards under to this great shot, and Margot running it down. As you can see, Margot just chasing down a beautiful throw right to the back corner, and Margot just eyes on it. That low catch is so hard. Olivia taking that shot too. Olivia setting up that cut too. We didn't get to see it on the replay, but she gained about 20, 25 yards underneath and then turned aggressive and took about a 40-yard shot. Side stack is so dangerous like that. When you go cutter to cutter, it just seems like you are gaining so much yards and you have so much space. Picturesque side stack offense there.
And that's the momentum that this DC team needs. They've been broken twice in a row to start this game, but here they are able to punch a score in, but also able to do it exactly how they wanted. I believe that those are the cuts that the coaches are probably describing as they're talking to the line. Those are the cuts that you're looking for, and being able to execute a game plan is always such a momentum and confidence builder early in the game.
And now we get to see DC come down in their most likely person defense. I know they've been working really hard on just kind of like person fundamentals early season, really trying to get in gritty defense. No flash, no tricks right now, and just going in and just trying to win your matchup. I'm really excited. In this heat, it's tough to kind of dig in. I'm really excited to see DC kind of dig in this point. So Seattle coming down in a vert stack. Big shot. Another Seattle player leaking deep right on the end zone line. Tricky moment. Good find for the cone for a Seattle goal. And again, Seattle going kind of big cut and then finding their end zone offense in this kind of transition period. A really difficult thing to do. Catching the ball right on the goal line. 1 yard to gain and everyone rushing by for that great goal. Nori showing a lot of patience, finding their cutter, hitting them right in the chest.
And Nori able to get wide open on that point. An excellent initiation cut from all the Seattle players who we saw coming out of that pull play. And Seattle responding right away with an excellent offensive hold. I think we're going to have ourselves an exciting game today.
And at this moment, we really want to shout out one of our big sponsors, 5 Ultimate. 5 Ultimate is the premier provider of ultimate apparel and gear. As the official partner of Team USA, currently competing in the Under-24 World Championship in Germany, 5 is committed to producing uniforms of the highest quality. For Ultimate players, by Ultimate players. Play hard, have fun, 5 Ultimate. Thank you again, 5 Ultimate. And you can tell this is a heat timeout. Players are just going underneath the tents, getting some shade, making sure that they can just lower their body temperature by 5 or 6 degrees, get that heart rate down just a little bit, and just kind of mentally reset. I think sometimes when you're in the game, you don't even notice how hot and how tired you are, but just kind of a mental reset in the shade to also check on yourself, like, am I okay? How am I feeling?
Yeah, and we saw yesterday that the heat can sneak up on you quickly. You might not be aware of how tired you are and how hot you are, and then all of a sudden you feel it hit right away. So taking these heat breaks often and early to do an excellent job of keeping these players safe on this hot, hot day. And we've done... We're getting a look there at Kelly Johnson teaching the boys something, and Henry Fan doing an excellent job of keeping them cool out on this hot turf today. Make sure that you stay tuned for the boys game that we'll have coming up right after this game. And again, I just want to shout out 5 Ultimate, especially for those like nice white hoodies that we talked about so much today. And they also geared up all of the U24 teams that we saw win across the board in the U24 championships in Germany today. doing an excellent job as we saw another U24 sweep today in Germany.
Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations, Chance, one of the DC Rogue teams. And also, I know, Abby, you have some teammates that were out there competing. Do you want to give any shout-outs right now to some of your teammates competing at the World Championship?
Oh man, so many that I would love to shout out, but especially my current Seattle Riot teammates Samia and Linnea. I know that Kaide flew out there to watch, which is incredible, and just so many awesome Seattle players that we've seen come through these U20 YCC Dis Northwest programs. So many players also coming from this DC Rogue teams that we've seen go on to compete at the national level all across the world, go on to the U24 level, go on, like, we are watching the future of the sport right here. We're going to see, like, the future club players of the year. We're going to see the future U24 members, the future World Game members competing on the stream, which is so incredible that we get to live stream all these youth games to you right now.
Yeah, and it really is. I remember one of my Worlds coach telling me, you know what, you're going to see each other compete against each other in college, compete each other against club, and we're going to see each other for a while. When I was a young little kid, I was competing against Dylan, who was 2 years younger than me, and it's crazy, 15 years later, that we still get to kind of cross paths in the Ultimate world. So you start off as competitors, but these kind of moments on the field just last a lifetime. So, again, DC in their side stack. Seattle going with a junk look this time, trying to stop the big looks from Rogue. They're back now in person. But, again, just kind of sagging off the first couple points to kind of stop these pull plays or, like, big yards under. Rogue swinging back to the middle. Great upline strike. Maybe a shot to the end zone right now. Unable. It looks like Seattle's also kind of going flat-ish. Forehand mark. Oh, and a great throw and a grab. Graham Cunningham doing a great job of hunting down in the end zone, but it looks like there might have been a call a few throws back. Unsure about what is going on, but I really am impressed right now by Rogue about when they get into their cutters. Like, their offense moves so incredibly fast, right? It goes cutter to cutter, and they're gaining a lot of yards. Their cutters are looking to also huck. They have some great throws, and they're doing an amazing job of just, like, once they're in that cutter set, just flying by. Very similar style to actually Seattle, too, who loves getting in their cutter set and just going.
Yeah, we've seen these cutter-to-cutter actions, as you've been saying, Casey, and I'm excited to see how the defense is able to respond to try to slow down this quick movement. It looks like the call is resolved on the field, so it will be a DC Rogue score. And we've seen these strong offensive holds. The points aren't lasting longer than 30 seconds. And so we're excited to see how the defense is going to push back, how they're going to make these teams choose option B, option C, take away their pull play. As we get another look at the score right here with number 53 on DC Rogue sending the disc into the hands of number 14. Catch, turn, throw, immediately hitting upfield. It's a tight window, but able to put the disc into the hands of her teammate while there's defensive pressure on her back. So an excellent job trusting all their receivers on this DC Rogue team.
And again, like, we always talk about these kind of attacking that open side, and it makes the throw so much easier, and these DC Rogue players are doing a great job of attacking their defender's hips, sprinting through their defender and getting open on the open side. It just makes life so much easier, especially when you're in that side stack. You have all this space, but it does take a lot of effort and focus to get open on that open side. The defense knows where you're going, and they're doing everything possible to stop that, and to say, no, we're not deterred by that, and just go is incredibly hard and still impressive by DC.
Yeah. So we've seen a couple pull plays from these teams heading in this direction. I'm excited to see if Rogue throws some sort of zone, like some sort of junk for the first couple points on this hot day as everyone's trying to stay cool. Junks also can sometimes be used to save your legs on these hot days, being able to try to contain the defense instead of just playing person, especially on a side stack where you're able to kind of jump in that lanes and poach a little more easily.
Yeah. And you know what? I think Seattle has been really working hard to like the butterflies and everything. They have come out so strong, and just DC needed 1 point to kind of like settle in. And right now, that's the biggest difference of this game. Just a little miscue in the beginning, and now DC getting a great opportunity to get their break back at half field, looking to break. They still going side stack.
Yeah,
Great break throw.
Great break throw using the width of this field, which you love to see early in the game as they're looking up the line. A huge bid, but not quite able to come down with it. See a bid from both players and a high five afterwards. Incredible spirit early in this game.
Oh, and fantastic bid. For all you youth players out there watching this game, that was really fantastic technique of how to lay out, not to hurt yourself, and also on offense to go low for that disc. Really difficult thing to do, and Olivia does a fantastic job. Great D, looking maybe to fast break on the end zone line. This is time for DC to get inside their end zone, about 20 yards away.
Claire Schmidt with the disc after that big time D, looking into the end zone and able to find her teammate right there, Leah Silverman. A fantastic job from this DC Rogue team, able to get a D right away and convert on one throw.
And Claire doing an amazing job of just like calming down her offense, calling what she wants, and making sure that she just stares upfield and is aggressive, like moving her mark to the break side to open up that window, settling in, and just putting it right to space, right in the breadbasket. Fantastic throw, fantastic offense as well in the red zone. So 3-3, DC gets a break back. Now Seattle a little bit on the heels. We can see fans coming into the stadium, and it's been a lot of fun. We can hear the fans kind of getting into it. DC coming together, even in this hot day. The stadium is packed right now.
Yeah, excited to see what club players show up to watch this game, whether we see some Scandal players, some Truck Stop players show up to give this love to their U20 YCC team.
Yeah, there we got a shot of the fans and also some of the DC boys that are going to be playing in the game after this, so make sure you stay tuned. I know we're seeing the far shots of the stands. We're not letting fans go there. Right now, they're just packed out in front of us, and it's the environment to play in front of a live crowd, not only streaming, the energy. I always am a little jealous of these players getting to play in front of a huge crowd.
Definitely, it adds a lot of energy, a lot of hype to this game when you have the big cheers coming from some of the big plays we've seen early in this game already.
Seattle in a horizontal, Rogue in person, really kind of a flat mark. Big shot going up. Again, Seattle attacking deep, but Rogue's underneath it. Gets a great D. Again with the disc back, about 70 yards to go, looking for another break. Rogue in their side stack. Great 7 cut. A little bit of a miscue right now. High stall count. Looks to get it off the line. Big shot. Oh, just out of the reach.
Yeah, difficult to hit those angles sometimes as the disc is swinging to the far side where the side stack isn't, and if the player isn't already on the field, in the middle of the field, downfield, it is able to hit those away cuts sometimes when they become a little horizontal. So I'm excited to see how we watch this side stack continue to develop from Rogue as we see them get a D back.
And great team D. That felt like a stall 8, stall 9 throw that Seattle was trying to fit in a small window. Great job by Rogue playing that kind of person defense. Great break. Can she chase it down? Absolutely. Right on the goal line, looking to score. A great strike up line again. One more time. What a great throw and go. CC with a great throw to space and then immediately blowing up line, winning the kind of hips of her defender, and then going up and getting it. Fantastic play. You can see CC right here. Throws a little shimmy, goes to the far side. Great release point, and then she immediately is taking off. Great rundown, too, by number 4 on Rogue. Chloe with great speed, making sure that her feet's not in, tapped in, so no travel is called, and then just putting it out to space for CC to go up and get it.
Yeah, and in that replay, I'm actually not sure of their number, but the DC Rogue player in the back of the stack, you saw them turn to cut into that space again, recognizing that CC was coming for that upline space and clearing out. That's a very smart play. And very hard thing to register. A lot of times you see that and you want to go score, but taking the time to register, say, nope, that's not my space. I'm going to clear out for my teammate, and then CC able to score.
So 2 big breaks. DC, the butterflies are gone, and they are going in attack mode right now. It looks like there's a timeout, and we're going to just take a time to just, cool down, make sure that our gear is okay, and make sure we give a big thank you to our sponsors. We'll be right back.
And welcome back from that timeout. We are here, Seattle, Washington right now is down 3-4. We've taken another heat timeout. It is a hot, hot day. I know Casey and I, we were able to go out and kind of see some of the sights in Washington, D.C. You and I were just cruising around on this fun little electric scooters, and still we came back and we were drenched in sweat from this hot, humid day. Everyone talking about how whether it's setting record temperatures, but we're seeing both these teams put so much effort out onto the field. A truly incredible game.
And I can't believe our equipment is holding up. But not only are the players not letting the heat affect them in their play, very clean, multiple holds, and on the breaks, they're just taking advantage. But our fans right now have been doing an amazing job coming out, supporting Youth Ultimate. Let's just see if with the energy too, with 2 big breaks, you can really tell that the energy has changed for DC right now.
Definitely, and exciting to see how these teams come out of these heat timeouts. You're not necessarily used to taking these frequent breaks in the sport of Ultimate. A lot of times it's getting ready to go, pulling every 90 seconds after a point is scored. So now you get this time to take a breath, to cool down a little bit, and also to talk about strategy, right? So we might see some new things, some new strategy coming out of these frequent breaks that we were seeing today.
And it will be interesting. You're right. This kind of the timeout, and we'll see if it hurts actually DC. They were kind of on a roll for a little bit, getting 2 breaks, feeling like they've hit a stride, and then taking the heat timeout, which is incredibly important and is a must in this weather. But let's see if DC can come out with that same fire. I'm expecting them to absolutely do it. Their person defense has been smothering multiple times, a stall 8, stall 9 count, where yes, one of the rogue players gets the D, but it was a team defense.
And it looks like we have Jenny Faye in the crowd. Always incredible to see a club player like Jenny Faye able to come out and give some love to the youth. Not only to the youth on the field, but to that cute little baby in her arms, too.
Oh, more babies on stream. Yeah, Jenny Faye, an amazing player. We got to face her against Space Heater last year. Fantastic program, and also doing a great job of coaching this DC Rogue team for the last couple years. You see Shanti with that upline strike looking deep. And I think it's so important how you grow Youth Ultimate, though, having club players make sure that they give back to the youth. Big shot deep, looking for another break. DC's on the doorstep, looking, not a cutter in sight right now. Again, focused in. Oh, and the give go, and DC, the 3rd break in a row.
Chloe able to reel in that score for this DC team, but we saw number 23, Olivia Arello, doing a fantastic job on that point, on defense, on offense, taking that shot, going and getting the disc. And if you're like, Olivia Arello, I feel like I've heard that name before. She actually won the Ulti World block of the year last year. We saw that huge D from her, huge layout D, an inspiring play in the back of the end zone during YCC's last year. So that's another player that we're going to look for to be making big plays for this DC Rogue team.
And again, it looks like Seattle and DC just trying to get cool. You can tell it's just taxing on the body right now, trying to get a little break. There you can see the deep shot. This is actually a scary moment when they're on the sideline after catching a goal. You're waiting for your teammates to run 70 yards. You have about like 10 seconds, and the count felt like it got up to 7 or 8, and there hadn't been really a strong cut. Fantastic job of Rowe kind of staying composed in that moment to get that dish off, and then immediately strike up line 2 for the goal, catching Seattle defense off guard.
What do you think about Chloe? Do you think obviously we saw her stay composed, but what about her calling a timeout in that moment?
As a coach, I mean, I love timeouts in that moment. I think as a player, if you catch it, it's great to take maybe 3 seconds to see if one of your players is streaking past someone, and you can easily get a goal. But if you look and you kind of take that snapshot behind you and you see Seattle running with, and it's kind of like, oh no, there's going to be like 4 seconds before I really get an option, I like to burn it. We get to set up, and like we're right on the doorstep. Also, as a coach, you kind of love those moments because you get to practice your end zone offense, and you get to kind of draw up a play or something like that. So I'm a big fan of calling timeouts on the end zone line, especially after a huck that's not in.
Interesting. I think that maybe you and Dylan Freechild will have to talk that one out on the bus later today. I know he took to Twitter yesterday on that topic. Casey, you're not a big Twitter guy, so I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't heard this yet. But maybe y'all can talk that out later and talk about the pros and cons of taking that timeout on the end zone line. But I agree. Sometimes you just don't have anyone around you. Everyone is running past you. It's frantic time. But so far we've seen DC Rogue do a fantastic job of staying composed and able to punch in another break going up 5-3.
You got to tell me, does Dylan disagree with calling timeouts on the end zone line?
Yeah.
Well, he did grow up in a system by Seth Wiggins that was famously said, better to score now than later, who would throw lefty scoobers, blades to the back corner, and I think Dylan Freechild, probably a very creative thrower, a fantastic player, but I think he kind of has that same mindset of better to score now than later.
All right, if you're listening on the stream and you're on Casey's side, give some Twitter love to Casey. Let the fans know what you think in this situation. We'll be looking for that later today. And thank you to everyone who has been tuning in on this tour. Again, this is game number 6 of an incredible youth tour. We're so happy to all the fans who've been tuning in. Maybe this is your first game today. Thank you for joining us on this hot, hot Saturday in Arlington, Virginia.
And now, as the Seattle coaches, it's really important to kind of get your players to, like, take a breath. There's been, like, 3 pretty fast breaks by DC, and with this heat and with the timeouts, it's tough to kind of get caught up in this moment. You're down to getting the disc. The game, there's a long game, and it's just about remembering what got you there. The Seattle long cuts, going cutter to cutter, is really Seattle's bread and butter right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a pull play or something like that, but just to get Seattle in their offense, the kind of fluky turnovers. I mean, DC has played some amazing defense, which forces Seattle to throw into these small windows, but I think Seattle just needs their legs and to remember to get open and work hard with their legs to get these big windows for their throwers right now.
Absolutely. As we watch the pull go up from this DC team, excited to see them come down. It looks like they'll be sticking to their person defense, a slight poach deep from Olivia, number 23, in the backfield. But overall, just tight person defense again from this DC Rogue team.
And an errant throw sailing over the head of Betsy. DC getting the disc back and immediately going deep. Big shot deep. Seattle there, but DC also there. Oh, and a great D. That's a big rip, though, too. And a fast break to swing off the line and then rip it deep. Really fantastic.
Yeah, you love to see that. And Seattle able to get that block. This is huge. This gives them another opportunity to work on their offense. Oh, a fantastic grab right there on a very tight window. Seattle doing a great job of keeping the disc moving. They're gaining multiple yards, possibly looking for this big deep shot up in the field, challenging the DC Rogue player, but Olivia doing a fantastic job, going up early, getting the hand on the disc. Yesterday we were seeing a lot of tip discs that popped up. Two players on the other team still able to catch it, so a fantastic job by Olivia being able to reel in that disc as we see a Rogue short field turnover.
And Maddie running through, getting that hand on it, giving Seattle an opportunity on their goal line to run their end zone offense. But that last point before that turnover happened, you could really see the power of Seattle's end zone to end zone, cutter to cutter offense, and really how high-powered it is. Running to the cone, multiple Seattle players there. Great grab by Nori.
Yeah, and Seattle able to score even as the stall count was increasing. We saw the Seattle players staying super chilly, looking for multiple options in the end zone, and in the end able to find an open Seattle player to punch in the score, taking it 5-4. DC Rogue still in the lead, so Seattle on the hunt for a break.
And an interesting moment, Seattle on that goal line, really looking open side. Nori doing a great job of winning that cone. But I want to pay attention to this to see if Seattle can get that just back to the middle to be able to throwers to attack both sides, that open side and a break side. That vert sack isolation end zone is really strong when the disc is in the middle. And you see a lot of turnovers when it's in that kind of open side coffin corner, or like kind of that corner right there when teams are just looking at that open side.
Definitely. So Seattle showing that they can score however they want, doing an excellent job, building some momentum for this team. Excited to see what Coach Amanda Kostick is telling her defense right now. We've seen some incredible offensive holds from this DC Rogue team, able to execute on their pull plays. Excited to see if we're going to see something new from either teams, either on offense or on defense today.
Yeah, you know, talking to DC's coach, I'm pretty sure that Fred is really gonna stick to this person. They've really trying to build a core foundation. I would love to see some kind of tricky zones and things like that, but I'm pretty sure that Fred is gonna stick to this person, kind of bread and butter, and build that foundation. I think Rogue is gritting this game out, especially with this heat, and I think that's a really fun game plan. I know as commentators it's great to see multiple things, but I love this game plan of going person and just sticking to it in this heat and making their team go for it. But Seattle absolutely not sticking to that game plan. They're in a three-person cup. Again, this kind of saggy cup, big windows. Rogue doing a good job of kind of swinging the disc back and forth, trying to open up windows through the middle as the cup moves. A bounce off the hands, great opportunity for Seattle for a break. Midfield, maybe 25 yards outside of the end zone. Let's see what Seattle does, as Rogue has done a good job of matching up. I think when you go zone transition and you get that D, it's always tough to figure out who you're guarding, and Rogue doing a great job of pointing, communicating, and making sure that they have matched up. Shanti with this inside break, sailing over. Is there another chance? Alex doing a great job and a great second effort, but unable to grab the disc. Ooh, Laura going quickly. Seattle doing a great job sticking in their three-person cup. And another just off the fingertips. You can see Leona saying, hey, calm down. We're right outside. We're 7 yards away. We're about to knock on the door. Let's just get into our end zone. Shanti with a disc, looking for Holtzman. Inside break, does not connect.
Yeah, so we're seeing multiple turnovers from these teams today, or in this point right here. The Seattle defense able to not necessarily get blocks, but to force this DC Rogue team to throw the disc from side to side, to throw many throws here, hoping for a drop, hoping for a little block that you might be able to see. We see another D for Seattle just outside the end zone. Are they able to execute on this opportunity? We see a huge scoober to the back of the end zone. Oh my goodness, was that Laura Holtzman?
That was Holtzman, and Holtzman has been throwing that scoober multiple times on this tour, but nothing as exciting as that. As you can see, Gabby getting it, finding Holtzman right in the middle, and Holtzman winding and finding, loading up that scoober.
What a rip. And just blading it in. And Leona doing a great job of making sure to grab it with two hands. Maddie, hands up in the air, unsure of the shot, but a goal is a goal. Better to score now than later, folks.
You're coming around to it, Casey. Yeah, interesting. You're not not used to seeing these teams score in that fashion. Sometimes you throw your hands up in the air, and if it's a turnover, you're like, I told you, like, let's not take that shot. But sometimes your teammates come down with it, and you're like, all right, let's do it. Nice job, everybody. Some fantastic, exciting stuff that we saw from both teams. It looks like we've got another timeout right now. So we're going to take this opportunity to thank another one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to this timeout break that we have. An incredible game that we've seen so far. The score is tied up at 5. We saw a couple breaks from Seattle to open up this game. DC Rogue answering with a couple breaks, and then there Seattle setting their three-person zone, able to get, I believe, 3 turnovers in that three-person zone. It was interesting. The first turnover was about, as you were saying, Casey, 20, 25 yards outside the end zone, and we saw Seattle set up into a horizontal stack. I think that's one of those tricky points where you're like, do we go end zone? Do we stay horizontal? They weren't able to convert on it. I think it's a tough time to go into that horizontal. You don't really have these deep shots. A lot of times these deep shots, these away shots in the end zone, end up in turnovers. So we saw Seattle able to work through it, get multiple turnovers and multiple opportunities to work on that end zone offense.
And this is where I'm going to be kind of that grouchy coach. And we talked about on these hot days about being efficient. And when you have 3 turnovers in the red zone and you don't convert on the first 2, you know, I'm going to be that grouchy person that's like efficiency. Great job getting the point. But, like, you got to get it on the first one. There has to be some urgency and understanding that these extra running, the legs, like, playing D, those extra 2 possessions really add up. And as Seattle in this long tour has to kind of start thinking about efficiency in the red zone. I really like Leona, though, that last time calming everyone down, making sure that they were set up and that they got that kind of efficient end zone score.
It was an efficient end zone score, but it was also a huge scooper over the top. So, yeah, Seattle able to chalk one up. But as a coach, still not sure if you're saying, let's do that every single time. I know that scooper works that time, but let's see if we can work it, we can swing it, we can set our end zone up so that we're able to score with a nice, easy pancake. We see Seattle set their 3-person cup again. Super exciting.
Thank you, Abby. I think the heat's getting to me. I totally forgot how that point ended. Again, with that 3-person kind of saggy cup, I really am enjoying watching Seattle run this, where they are pretty flat on this 3-person cup and a huge cup, so they're kind of baiting people to crash under or like throw in between. Again, another drop in the middle with Seattle kind of a little past halfway looking for another break. And for those of you who have tuned in right now, it's 5-5, but then both teams have been kind of throwing different punches, where Seattle went up 3-1, and then Rogue went up 5-3, and then a big shot floating in the corner. Feet in for another break. Great grab.
Yeah, we saw that DC Rogue player go up trying to get that D early, and the disc popped right over them and still able to hang in the air. As we get another look at it, going up early, doing everything she can to get that disc. But Gabby Payoyo, we've seen it before. We're going to continue to see it on this tournament, on this tour, making fantastic plays in the end zone, doing everything she can to keep that disc alive and rack up another break for Seattle.
And going back, like, it's 6-5 right now, Seattle, but Seattle went up 3-1, then Rogue went up 5-3. Now Seattle went up 6-5. It's this moment where, like, both teams are kind of throwing these big haymaker punches and, like, getting these points in groups of, like, 2 and 3. And it takes so much mental resilience, especially in this hot day, to kind of focus in and make sure, okay, you know what? That was a big run. They got a big couple breaks there. But we also have a big run of breaks in us, too. And to kind of stay in and not get disheartened and not look down. And really, this is your moment where your teammates and your coaches, you have to really stick together. And you can really tell that Rogue has that strong team chemistry, and they're going to hold together in these moments.
Yeah, and this is a great opportunity for them to practice getting pushed. You don't want a team that only trusts each other and pushes each other when you're up, when everything is going your way. You want a team that is able to stick together when you're down, when you're struggling to link together these passes in the zone offense. So excited to see if Seattle throws it again in this 3-person cup, how Rogue is able to respond. I think that they've taken some good looks, just a few unfortunate drops. I would love to see them able to just get 4 or 5 passes, show that they can complete it, and then dink and dunk it all the way up the field, looking for these little breaks, and when it's there, able to move quickly. But on offense, you have the ability, you have the advantage to control the pace of the game when you're on offense, even in zone. So would love to see DC Rogue able to put some passes together here.
Great advice, Abby. And for all you viewers who are sticking with us, it is hot. We know the stream is a little suffering because of the heat and the equipment. We're trying our best. We're sweating up here in the booth. So we really appreciate your support, sticking with us, making sure no matter what, whether a lightning storm, 105-degree heat, we are here streaming, working hard to make sure that you get awesome Ultimate live right here. Again, you see Seattle with that 3-person cup. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Seattle sagging off, forcing Rowe to go back and forth. Big shot deep, has a person. Seattle trying to close for the goal. What a great rip. Graham Cunningham finding the end zone. Also really fun to see a deep shot in a zone. You don't often get to huck in zone, but so many times you get to lull people to sleep. And Claire turning, ripping that deep, knowing that the deep got sucked in a little bit, and you can just see Graham running it down, pancake in the end zone. Great effort by Alex to close and put pressure on, and I really actually like that from your deep in a zone, to kind of say, hey, if you're going to throw it, throw it. We have 3 people in front of you, and most of the time it's incredibly difficult. And Graham finding the end zone and Claire ripping it and taking that opportunity. But I also really think Alex does a great job of kind of playing that fine edge of saying, like, come on, try to throw it. And you've seen in the past games Alex getting those Ds.
Exciting to see Claire Schmidt take that shot in that zone. She's one of the first-year players on this team, so is still building chemistry with everyone. Hasn't necessarily played with this DC Rogue team in the past, and to be able to take a deep shot in the zone after you've been broken twice in a row against the same zone, that's a huge show of confidence, especially from a first-year player on this Rogue team. Excited to see what Claire Schmidt brings the rest of this game.
And again, 6-6, we got ourselves another nail biter, and I'm just having so much fun watching all these fantastic games on this tour. I mean, all nail biters, amazing plays, just textbook ultimate. There's also just fun creative throws, scoobers, big time hucks, great zones, side stacks, vert stacks, horizontal stacks, pull plays. Also just going to DC and seeing the sights. It's been so much fun.
Absolutely, and we're seeing another timeout right here, making sure that these players are staying safe. I actually kind of like it. You don't usually have this much time to think about what's going to come next. What are they going to do? Sometimes you got to like take a chance and say, oh, I'm not sure, but I got to call out the team, or I got to call out the defense within these 30 seconds before I'm rushing off the field to pull. But I kind of like this like tension building environment that we have with so many timeouts. I hope that you all are enjoying it at home. getting ready to see what is happening next, and we continue to see this crowd grow. More and more big club names showing up. I just saw Carolyn Normile walk up, playing for Scandal this year, and just super exciting to see this community of DC and Virginia Ultimate showing up for their youth players.
Yeah, I can't stress enough about just showing up to watch, support Youth Ultimate, whether you're here in the fans cheering for your players, or putting on clinics, or coaching, or driving players to tournaments, to practice, grabbing field food, or just, tuning in for viewership for us to be able to kind of stream these games to you. All that support is so important and really makes me feel really proud to be part of the Ultimate community.
Absolutely. And Casey, you've been involved in the Ultimate community for a long time. For those of you that don't know, Casey Ikeda, a two-time Junior World Champion, a Triple Crown and National Champion with Seattle Mixtape. You took like an 8-year, what you call retirement there, but then you come back, win a mixed national championship, Triple Crown Tour champion, and also a fantastic coach in Seattle. We're so excited that you're joining us on the stream, dropping all this knowledge that you've been building up for a while now.
Yeah, 20 years. 20 years is a long time playing Ultimate, and it's tough to kind of say that out loud, especially as I see some players who weren't born on the field tearing it up, doing things that I could not imagine, and they're just the youth from when I played. I was actually lucky enough to play in the first YCC in 2004, to what the youth is doing right now is incredible. And Abby, you, current Seattle Riot player, also a U24 gold medalist, and longtime player, also won that Triple Crown on Mixtape when we were teammates together. It's been so much fun to have in the booth and really just kind of see your eyes as one of the premier cutters in the game, to see, oh, that was a triple cut. Oh, great timing there. It's really important to kind of those subtle movements make you from a good cutter to a great cutter. As you can see, just off the fingertips, DC Rogue getting an opportunity with a short field, possibly to get another break. 6-6, disc off to the sideline. Another great strike up the line. Multiple people underneath there. And off the fingertips. Oh, such a tough moment where you thought you were needing to go up high. Defense cut under you. Realizing that you can turn around, and then losing that side of the disc for just a second, bounce off the fingertips. Seattle now with a disc, 70 yards to go. Laura in the middle, great give go.
Seattle's cutters downfield looking a little stagnant at this point as we see a deep shot take off. Able to stay in bounds, a huge bid, but unable not to hold onto the disc. And you've got to appreciate that effort, cutting deep for your team, trying to make that play, as we've seen Gabby Payoyo doing constantly in this tour, laying her body out on the line for her teammates right there for the Seattle team.
And I know Gabby didn't catch it, but being able to touch it while her feet were in bounds saves her team 20, 25 yards. Fantastic effort, amazing play, and I know you didn't catch it, but it was also like you saved your team these 20 yards. Great cut under. You can really tell DC is just eating up the unders in their side stack right now. Great upline cut, looking to shoot, possibly. Laser to the back corner, just too far.
I think you've still got to be happy with that shot that we see into the end zone. Even though DC Rogue isn't able to come down with it, we saw some great movement by their players downfield. And taking that forehand shot into the end zone, I know that they didn't connect this time, but I think you're okay with that shot, knowing that in the future you'll be able to connect. Seattle taking a long walk up to the front of this end zone. DC Rogue has time to set up on defense, catch their breath, and able to apply some pressure defense right here.
Floating. Giselle, big layout, another fingertip moment, and this is where I know we've taken a lot of breaks, but this is one of the first kind of long turnover points. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a quick timeout or something just to catch their breath. I mean, these athletes are in such good shape, but this heat is just beating down, and these longer points can be so death-defying. Great upline cut, looking for the strike, break side, Huck backhand, multiple people underneath. Alex coming down, looking to go quickly. High stall count. Upline strike by Betsy. Betsy grabbing it. Gabby deep. Betsy holstering. Looking back. Giselle doing a great job. Betsy again throwing and going. Ripping that backhand. Floating high. 2 rogue players underneath. Gabby there. Footwork inside. Oh, and again just trailing out of bounds.
Yeah, and I believe it's a little difficult for us to tell up in the booth, but I believe there is a little bit of a breeze pushing the disc this direction. We've seen the disc fly out multiple times on this end zone. Gabby doing an excellent job trying to reel that one in for her teammates, but I think that's something to keep in mind throughout this game, that the breeze is picking up a little bit, and it's going to be pushing those discs to this near sideline. I believe we saw one DC Rogue player take an injury right there. Seattle and Rogue doing an excellent job checking in with them. You love to see this camaraderie. We've got multiple Seattle players running over. Sarah Edwards, one of our Fulcrum crew members, making sure that these players are okay. Again, it's a hot day, it's a long day, and we want to make sure that everyone is staying safe out there.
Yeah, and a kind of a really scary moment. This heat is not a joke about it, and we've taken multiple heat timeouts, and the coaches are going to do everything possible to make sure that their players are body temperature is down and their heart rate can stay calm. But in these long points too, it just is so scary. And I think when you're playing too, the adrenaline, you forget so much, and especially as an athlete when you're on the field, you always tell yourself to forget about the pain, forget about the pain. In these hot days, it's really important for you to take care of your body. We're going to take a quick break. Please join us after this message from our sponsor.
Sun is high, shining in my eyes, moving west to lead us to paradise. All that's underneath, draw it out of me. I see visions of everything we always dreamed. When the morning comes, stars and sky above, will you be ready? When I'm out here, we'll rise and fly.
And as we get joined again, welcome back. It's 7-6 DC here on a hot day. Ava is up now, still getting checked out by both coaches. We see DC taking a big shot down the line. Betsy now with the disc in the middle. A big turnover, looking to fast break. Great run through D. Big shot to the end zone, has 2 rogue players running on, and a great grab. CC finding the end zone. CC has been all over this place, not only on defense, on offense with her throws. A great job, and really started with a run through D. An amazing job by Olivia to get that, to be composed, and then to take this really creative shot to that back corner. That forehand with a nice shape for CC to be able to run onto it, being able to see it the whole time. Great shot to that back corner.
I have loved watching this connection between Olivia and Cece. We've known that Olivia has this defensive presence on the field as we see her get another run through D that point, but then her and Cece able to create so much space, taking creative lanes on the field, able to see that big around forehand shot. Olivia knew it was going to be a goal as soon as she put it up in the air, and I'm just so excited to see this connection continue to grow between these two DC Rogue players.
And 7-7, and you can tell the players are just taking another shade break to make sure that they get there's some time, lower that heart rate, and also just get a chance to like check in with themselves. I think it's really important just to hydrate. You don't realize how much you're sweating in moments like this. Just to check in with your body, and a chance to be in the shade is so important.
And during this time, we would like to do a shout out for Dis Northwest. They're one of the title sponsors of this tour. Some of Dis Northwest's core values include promoting equity, accessibility, fairness, competitive play, and spirit of the game. You can consider supporting these values by donating to the Youth Development Fund. The link is on the Dis Northwest Facebook page. We also want to shout out all of the Seattle Got Your Back teams. This was an incredible program this year that teams from Seattle said, hey, youth players, we got your back. We know the financial barriers that are there to be able to play Club Ultimate at this elite level. And so thank you to all the Got Your Back teams. That includes Lights Out, Seattle Sockeye, Seattle Chicago Bulls, Riot, Oregon Grinders, Kingdom, Kalakala, Garbage, Che, Sizzle, Seattle Mixtape, Bullet Train, Birdfruit, BFG, and Danger Mouse. Thank you so much to all those teams. You love seeing a community like that say, hey, youth teams, we've been there. We know it's difficult to make these this travel possible. And so just a huge shout out to all those teams. And I believe that it is actually halftime on the field. So we are going to take this time to head to commercial to thank the rest of our sponsors.
An Ultiworld subscription gets you closer to the players and personalities you care about with game video, in-depth written and video analysis,
He's going to take off deep, but what he does is very simple.
documentary shorts,
And we've played Fruit Squad before, and it just feels a little bit harder to lose this year.
and a whole lot more. To get your subscription or learn more, go to ultiworld.com/subscribe.
I promise that I will love you forever and always.
Jinx, and he's in.
Thank you so much to all of you viewers who have been tuning in. It is currently halftime in this exciting game between Seattle Voyagers and Washington, D.C. Rogue. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We want to give a special shout out to Cut Camp. Cut Camp is an overnight summer camp for high school players looking to develop their ultimate skills in a fun and competitive setting. Cut is the perfect place to find lifelong friends from across the country and improve your ultimate skills together. Come learn from the best players and coaches in the game. If you love Ultimate, you can find out more at competitiveultimatetraining.com. Cut Camp, go there. Yeah, just a huge shout out to Cut Camp. They have been doing an excellent job providing us with everything that we need to make this tour possible. If you don't know much about Cut Camp or it's something you're looking to get into, you can go check out that website to find more about it. Again, thank you to all of our viewers who have been streaming this game so far. My name is Abby Abramovich, and right now I am joined by our guest broadcaster, Grace Relf. She is a board member of WAFC and the chair for the Washington Area Youth Ultimate Committee. Grace, welcome to the booth.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Oh, yes, we're so excited to have you here, too. We love having these guest commentators to share a little bit more about their programs. Can you tell us more about WAFC and your experience with this program?
Yeah, absolutely. So WAFC is the regional disc org here, and we also have the Washington Area Youth Ultimate Committee. It's a group of really dedicated volunteers, mostly parents, coaches, some former players, who are really passionate about organizing and coordinating Ultimate in our region. I also have coached one of our DC YCC teams. We have a really strong history of our YCC program here in DC, and I know that this game has been really highly awaited because of the rivalry and the good history between these two teams.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's so great to hear about these organizations that are doing so much for these youth programs. And here we're showcasing a couple of the incredible youth programs across the country. We see Seattle, we see DC doing this incredible work on the field. So we're so happy to be able to showcase these two teams. Grace, what are your thoughts about what you've seen on the field so far today?
Well, I think everyone was expecting really high and intense level play, and that's definitely what I've seen so far. I have been super impressed with both teams' deep shots. That's been really cool to watch. Both teams have really great offensive flow, and I was also excited to see Seattle's zone look coming out just a few points ago. That seemed to throw a wrench into DC's offense, but it looks like they might be figuring that out a bit. So I've just been really impressed with all the players here today.
Definitely, these players persevering through the heat that we've talked about so much this game. It's been an incredible game so far. Is there anything that you think we haven't seen yet? Do you think DC Rogue might set a zone? Is there anything that you're like, ooh, I know that this team has been working on? Obviously, you don't have to share too much for those of you who are watching and trying to scout this DC Rogue team, but is there anything you're looking forward to the second half?
That's a great question. I would not be surprised to see DC Rogue set up some different offensive sets. I know we've seen a lot of side stack from them, but I would not be surprised to see them come out with sort of a different ISO look or a host stack or something different to keep that moving, especially as they are seeing that zone from Seattle. I don't know. I'm excited to see what they throw. I hope I can learn something new from them, and I already have, and hoping to see more of it in the second half.
Absolutely, and I think watching this team, we're getting a sense for the DC community. We've seen multiple people show up into this crowd. We've got a huge crowd building up below the booth right now, watching as this DC Rogue team works their way up the field. Grace, thank you so much for being here and sharing about this DC area Ultimate community and more about WAFC. Thanks for being here, Grace.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, and we've seen a turn from both teams as we're looking at a deep shot down the field. Laura Holtzman putting in the work to grab that deep shot. She's about 5 yards outside the end zone, puts up an OI forehand to the Seattle player at the front of the end zone. That was a great offensive shot that we saw. This is a huge backhand throw. And then Laura Holtzman, she's a grinder. We've seen her make big plays, put in work for her team, able to come down with this deep shot and then stay composed. She pump fakes this backhand. We see right there number 37 on Seattle, Leona, able to chop her feet and then put angle on the disc coming back. A lot of times we see those end zone turnovers generated by trying to throw to someone running away from you. So both Laura Holtzman and Leona doing a fantastic job of creating an angle that is easy to throw to in the end zone.
Absolutely, and I love this kind of chop and then fading to that forehand side. You can see DC Rogue and also Seattle taking advantage of their fantastic throwers of being able to hit that kind of tough, curving, arcing back, forehand into that little spot. They make it look so easy, but it's a difficult throw, and I think it's a timing thing. And you can see also Leona showing great footwork of like chopping down her steps, being able to change direction really quickly and safely. 7-7. We just the nail biters here are really exciting to watch. Abby, when you think about the adjustments as we get to this kind of mid-game, almost towards the late game, what are the adjustments you're trying to make as a coach?
I think that we've seen both teams pushing each other. We've seen Both teams working really hard, able to score, but also both teams able to generate Ds. So I think you've got to keep grinding. And then this is the level where we know that you're tired, but you've got to push yourself to get that extra D, to get that extra separation to make these throws earlier. You're going to be tired. So you've got to work with your legs. A lot of times you're like, all right, I'm tired. I'm going to win this game with my throws. But you've got to recognize that your players are going to be tired running down on these deep shots. And then if it doesn't work, you're going to be tired playing defense. And we also want to recognize that the game is to 13 today. It has been to 15 previously on this tour, but due to the extreme heat that we are facing today, both teams have just agreed to shorten the game to 13. So we've got ourselves a match here, right? 7-7, game to 13, 24 minutes left on the clock. We've seen multiple heat timeouts, and we're watching DC Rogue do some of the best zone offense that we've seen so far this game.
Absolutely. And then the great deep shot, again leaking deep with the great goal. And you can tell that the fans are getting into it. Fantastic zone offense, swinging back and forth. And then as that deep shot opens, as you swing to the far side, Margot catching it. And then that rail started off shallow. And then a great lefty flick bomb right over Alex. Her offense can just see it all the way. Graham just running onto it. Graham is doing a great job, has found the end zone multiple times. The timing and the space that Graham is showing this game is really incredible.
Yeah, I really like that Graham stayed wide in that situation. A lot of times when the disc is on the far side and you're this kind of rail wing player in zone offense, if you're like, I want the ball and it's all the way over there. I'm going to like start to sneak over there. I want the ball in my hands. But Graham able to stay on that far sideline and make a deep cut so that they can put it out to space, and Graham's able to run onto it. So a fantastic job overall by all 7 players on that DC Rogue team, staying patient in that zone offense. And that's kind of the first time that we've been able to see them swing it from side to side, get this little handler movement, and then take a deep shot.
And you know what I love, too, about this DC team playing zone offense is they're not afraid to hug against a zone. This is their second time that they've thrown deep against this 3-person zone. I really appreciate you seeing this time they were swinging back and forth, kind of lulling Seattle in, but they are going to take shots. They love ripping it deep. That side stack is a big huck, heavy, especially cutter-to-cutter huck kind of offense, and when zone comes, it doesn't mean that they're going to change their style. They're still great huckers. They still have fantastic speed as their cutters, and they are going to test you in the deep space no matter what. And I love that kind of fearless mentality by Rogue.
Yeah, and Alex Demany on Seattle doing a fantastic job as that deep. That is a tough position to be in. I know deeps don't always get the credit because they're kind of hanging back, just kind of trying to contain, know where everyone is at, and then all of a sudden they have to go up and make a play. They have to go get their teammates back, and it's really difficult. That was a beautiful shot from Rogue to that cross field, and very difficult as Alex was being split on both sides of the field. So just overall, we've said it already, but fantastic praise to that DC Rogue offense team as we see the pull go up from Olivia. DC Rogue up 8-7, hoping for another break.
And DC in a backhand as Seattle is looking to get it off this line. Higher stall count. Great throw. Looking deep. Not there. Big pump fake. Again, trapped on this open side sideline. Always really scary. Just out of the reach of Mia. Mia, a fantastic cutter all tour. Been sprinting, using her legs to just gain massive amounts of yards.
Definitely. And we see Olivia walking to pick up the disc. She's been a huge player for this DC Rogue team all game. She's trapped on the sideline, able to, not quite connect, but looking for that swing. You do gotta love that she's looking for that swing as opposed to just keeping it on the sideline that we've seen both teams do so far this game.
In short field, Seattle converts. Again, a textbook kind of end zone offense play where you're driving to one side, sprinting the other. Mia using her legs again and her speed to get open and making a large window for Shanti to hit. As you can see, Mia calling, I'm the ISO, driving to the one side, sprinting to the other side. Shanti doing a great job of getting low, throwing it to space for Mia just to run on. Really textbook end zone ISO offense.
And Shanti has been one of those consistent handlers that we've seen for Seattle all tour long. Maybe doesn't get the credit she's deserved. She's been there to pick up the dish. She's looking for those break side throws. She's been chilly whenever they're facing zone, or whenever they're facing a zone defense, and she's able to take shots when needed, but also just an incredibly consistent player. We see the Seattle players giving each other some love, cooling each other off. Oh, that spray bottle must feel so good on this hot, humid day today.
And I think it's so important. I know it just seems like kind of like we have to cool down, but it's such a maintain that body temperature when you have to stay ahead. If you get dehydrated on a day like this, there's no coming back. So staying ahead of cooling your body temperature down, making sure you're hydrating, drinking a lot of water, because you can't forget. And it's this mental grind of like making sure you're disciplined after every point, no matter what you're doing, getting under shade. You can see them wrapping themselves in towels and like just kind of lowering their heart rate, no matter what, just taking that break. And that takes a lot of discipline too. I mean, as a player, sometimes you're just like, oh, I want to stay on the sideline. I want to keep going. I'm feeling like really amped up. I want to be on the sideline. The best thing to do as a teammate in this moment is taking care of your body, making sure you have that second between this point to kind of calm your heart rate, getting hydrated, and then going back out there. When you get behind, that's when you see some heat exhaustion. I mean, it happens sometimes no matter what, but I think it's really important to have that discipline in between points to take care of your body.
Absolutely, and sometimes that leads to this it feels like a lower energy game, but you got to know that these Seattle players and these DC Rogue players have got your back. First thing though, they've got to take care of themselves, and then they can come out to the sideline to cheer you on, to give that sideline talk. But also DC Rogue with the advantage here of this hometown crowd that has come out to support this U20 girls team.
A huge hometown crowd. It is so much fun. I just got to poke my head out there, and it is packed with fans, with club players, with parents, with brother and sister, with other youth players. And again, you see Seattle in this kind of junky look. It's not their zone, but it's their cup, but it's this junky look to kind of slow down the D game of Rogue. And again, a little bit of a miscue, but you can tell there's pressure from the middles, kind of making those throws through the middle scary and making the receivers and the throwers kind of think about it and hesitate. And that's where kind of miscues happen so often in that kind of junk zone.
Yeah, I think it might have been their 2-3-2, if I'm correct, which I like that Seattle threw that because DC Rogue has proven that they're able to hit the deep shots even in a zone. So I like that 2-3-2. You're able to get an additional person in the backfield able to help with those deep shots.
Yeah, great point. I didn't even think about how DC has been attacking that deep and then putting that 2-3-2. You get an extra person in that deep look so that they can't stretch the deep as thin. DC playing some really tough D, only small windows, really making all the windows difficult for Seattle to hit. It looks like there's a player down right now. Hopefully everyone is okay. It looked like they're a little, maybe like a knee-to-knee collision. Something I really appreciate in this youth division is you see when there's an injury, players hit a knee. Not only because of this heat to just kind of take some area off, but just to signal that there's an injury, there's a kind of a respect and calm. In the club division, I know we don't do it, but I think I really enjoy kind of all the players hitting a knee and taking the time to make sure that a player is okay.
Absolutely, and we've got to hope that this Seattle player, Alex, is okay. We know that yesterday was a really hot day, really hard for these Seattle players to recover on this quick tour where they're playing back to back to back to back. So really hoping that Seattle is okay. Their roster is, I believe, at 13 players today, if I'm not mistaken, and that is hard to do knowing that one of your players is going to have to go out there and play the next point. So we see Alex getting up there and able to walk off the field on her own, which is fantastic. Wishing her the best and hoping that Seattle is able to rest up a little bit and that they're able to continue to grind out this game. Again, it's 8-8, game to 13, 15 minutes remaining. We've got ourselves a really exciting game here, Casey.
Really exciting game, and I really appreciate. I couldn't actually hear what Taylor was saying, the coach of Seattle, but you could tell Taylor was just making sure that Alex was okay. 8-8, and you really want to win this game. Sometimes you forget how to take care of yourself, and I really appreciate these Seattle coaches and Taylor in that moment saying, "Hey, take your time. Whatever you need to do right now to make sure that you are healthy and safe is the most important thing." There will be lots of games of Ultimate. We are seeing some really talented players you're going to be playing for a long time. Make sure you take care of yourself in this moment. Looks like there was a foul called on the throw. Maddie also doing the hand signals. Really appreciate it. There's not a lot of times. I'm still learning the hand signals, but you can see that the foul was called, no contest. Really remarkable. I think I just learned that hand signal 2 years ago, and pretty awesome to see. Maybe a year ago. Abby's giving me that side eye.
Yeah, we learned them when we were playing with Mixtape last year at Worlds, so hopefully you remember a couple of them, Casey, but incredibly helpful for us commentators up here in the booth, but also for the players on the field. Oh, as we watch a Seattle turnover, looking up the line, Maddie Grassi, disappointed about that turnover, but ready to be fired up on defense as we see a forehand force from Seattle.
Oh, and just too far on the swing right now. Seattle with a short field to work. This is a great opportunity for Seattle where they can still be in their horizontal. Those hucks are still pretty viable. And let's see what happens. Lauren Holtzman with the disc. Shot to the corner. Gabby there. Both all-star players going up in the air. Gabby pulling it down right on the doorstep. Nori racing to the corner with the goal. Seattle with the break. Incredibly exciting. I am just fanboying over this matchup of Gabby and Olivia right now. Two athletic players, not only fighting for the disc, but just fantastic in there. As you can see, Gabby throwing to the corner. Nori really just heart and legs right now, sprinting to that corner to get open on that open side.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that matchup that we're seeing between Gabby and Olivia, but I also really loved the matchup between Cece Collinson and Lauren Holtzman on Seattle. I think that those are two grinders. Those are two incredibly smart, fast players. And we saw a contested throw go up to Lauren Holtzman with Cece Collinson right on her back. Holtzman able to do what she can to hang on to that disc and then hit the other matchup that we were watching on that field. Some really exciting stuff coming at you from this game.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I don't know how many times we've said it, but just the level of play from this youth teams, both youth teams are really exciting. The zones, the different looks, but just also the fundamentals of like the attacking and the matchups. We're talking about just watching the exciting matchups you have, and there's that big picture coaches kind of saying, okay, how do we adjust to this zone? How do we do this thing? How do we slow down their hucks? And there's also these kind of individual matchups where it's like, okay, they beat me on this jab step last time, or they really like their shimmy flick. And watching these players kind of adjust to their individual matchups has been really exciting. And we have some exciting one-on-one matchups in this game. And both teams love to cut to space and go deep. So these one-on-one matchups, too, are going to be really exciting to watch and see how they evolve over time. Again, a heat break. This is 9-8, getting a chance to kind of breathe, slow that heart rate down, and again, to kind of think about those matchups. Really important and a really interesting kind of wrinkle to this game of like you get a lot of time to process and think. Sometimes in those moments, I, as a player, get in my own head, and I like to make sure that I'm just kind of like, you know what, maybe I'm not even thinking about my matchup. Maybe I'm going finding my friend and just chatting about something goofy to kind of hit that reset button. I think this is like a great moment where I'm looking for a goofy friend, or you know what, a great moment to go and like talk to these DC players or like meet someone else from the other team. I know they're rivals right now and they're competing right now, but I think it's so much fun to kind of just chat and have fun and get to know the other team as people too. There's some fantastic personalities on the other team of DC Rogue and of Seattle, and that they're probably going to see each other not only at the youth division, but at the college, the club, maybe even the Masters and Grand Masters level.
Maybe you and I will still be commentating when they get to that Grandmasters level.
Hopefully. Shout out to Fulcrum Media for letting us get out on the mic. It's been so much fun commentating this tour and just getting to watch all the Ultimate getting played on the field, but to really see the behind the scenes of how hard this crew is working to make sure that the viewers are getting to watch the stream, getting to see all the highlights, all the sizzle reels, all the social media, just the hard work that the Fulcrum Media team is putting in to make sure that we get to watch Ultimate. I think as a kind of Ultimate consumer, I kind of see a highlight and I'm like, oh, that was really fun. That was really great, well edited, the music is good, but I don't really think about the hard work and the people behind that make it available for us. Getting a chance to be on this tour with Fulcrum and just to see, you know, Callie editing in the car, Gabe working, you know, not only shooting the game, but then editing at like the wee hours to make sure that the social media posts get up. It is really incredible to see the dedication.
Absolutely, and another reminder that we have another game after this, right? We are not done after this game. We will be here. We're going to be sweating it out for you, ready to commentate the U20 boys game coming up. It'll be the Seattle Silly Stores versus the DC Foggy Bottom boys. Some incredible players and some incredible names that we've seen so far on this tour.
8-9 Seattle just getting a break. It seems like the heat is cooling off just a little bit, but the wind is picking up more, which is pretty exciting to see. We'll see what Seattle has in store. They've come down in their 3-person cup and then that 2-3-2. Let's see. I'm kind of interested to see what Seattle does this point. Their zone has been effective, but Caustic loves to mix it up and keep the other team always guessing. It looks like a kind of saggy person. It's kind of their junk zone. Again, it's a 3-3-1. Rogue getting in their zone offense, but still looking to attack deep. Shanti on the mark right now. DC swinging it to the sideline. Again, this kind of junky zone is really pushing DC to swing back and forth and not getting to shoot deep or really look through the middle. And you can tell right there a long swing. I really love those swings against the zone, but just popping up just a little too high, and you can see the wind kind of affecting and taking that throw.
We see Seattle here in their horizontal stack, able to get some separation in the middle of the field. We're looking for them to transition into their end zone. When is it going to happen? They've showed a lot of consistency throughout this game, but also at times unable to reel it in as we see a turnover from Seattle. Excellent job by the DC Rogue player getting in front and now taking her time, swinging the disc to the middle of the field.
And a big shot deep. Looks like a one-on-one with Maddie. Maddie comes down with it, and it looks like Seattle's going to try to go quickly right now. Shanti, unmarked, looking to shoot. Finds Gabby. I'm sorry, Mia. No, that's Gabby. Apologize, stream. Right on the doorstep, but it just out of bounds.
Interesting to see if Seattle sets up their zone right here. It looks like they are going to. And as you were saying before, Casey, we see these bigger swing throws happening from this DC Rogue team. I would love to see some small ball movement. I would love to see a couple little give goes. And instead of taking one shot to get it to the other side of the field, let's take 2 or 3 passes to swing it to the other side of the field. As this wind is picking up, let's make some easier shots. But DC Rogue, happy to say, we're going to throw whatever we want, Abby, as they swing it to the other side of the field, and they're moving the ball up really well in the zone offense.
Oh.
And a huge grab there from number 23.
Olivia going up and at it to grab it. Floating disc, multiple traffic. As you see it floats up, I'm going to call this the 5 ultimate play of the game. Olivia tracking it in a crowd and going up and grabbing it, and then having the composure to settle in, direct traffic, and then throw the goal. That is huge. Maddie I love the gamble. I think you go and get that as a deep, but as soon as Olivia goes up and gets it, it is just all open field in the backfield, and Olivia recognizing it, not only making that athletic play, but taking advantage of knowing that the deep came under, and you had to go, and it's time to go attack against that zone.
Yeah, DC Rogue showing that they are not done in this game. It is 9-9. We've seen both teams pushing each other every single point. I don't think a team has led by more than 2 this entire game. This is a super exciting game that we've had coming at you today. I really like what you're saying about Maddie's effort as that deep. We saw her attacking under. That's sometimes a hard thing to do as a deep. She barely misses it as Olivia makes this huge play, the 5-play of the game. But then we saw Maddie Grassi turn and try to get that next D, right? She, instead of hanging her head saying, oh, I should have had that, or I wish I could have gotten it, she puts on the burners and able to almost make a play on that other deep shot into the end zone.
Absolutely. And, it's tough because we're seeing DC attack the deep of Seattle's zone, but really some textbook deep defense. You want to be on that gray area. You want to make the other team throw a big 70, 50-yard shot cross field over your deep. And you know what? You also want to gamble in those moments when it floats up, 2 people underneath, deep. You get it to see the disc the whole time and run under. It's an amazing job of a deep defense, but then just better offense. DC Rogue saying, okay, Seattle, you're baiting us to make this bomb huge throw. We're going to go do it. We're going to hit our players in stride, throw it right over your deep, and settle it in. You know what? Olivia says, you know what, deep, you're coming under. Our middle is right there, too. You know what? I'm going to just climb the ladder and go make an amazing play, and then throw another picturesque flick to attack you deep. Great defense, better offense right now from DC against the zone, and we have ourselves 9-9.
Yeah, not surprised to see Olivia get that 5 ultimate play of the game. Again, she was the recipient of the 2018 Ulti-World Block of the Year. She's used to making big plays for whatever team she's playing on, and we have loved watching her on the field today. I'm excited to see this DC Rogue defense come down, looking for a break opportunity to take the lead as we watch the clock trickle down here, and so excited. They've been applying such great pressure defense. Let's see how Seattle is able to respond to them.
And this 9-9 game is really the moment where I would love to hear the fans get into this game and just kind of give their energy for this field. It's been a hot day, couple minutes left, and I would just this is where it's so much fun to play in front of a hometown that is excited and loud for your fans. You can really hear them coming out, just trying to yell out over them. It's just been so much fun. This crowd to support this Rogue team.
Yeah, we see so many people showing up for their community. This has been an incredible tour, not only to see these top-level youth teams, but to also get to know these communities a little bit better. We've talked to someone from each organization. We can feel the stands rumbling right now as the DC Rogue crowd is getting into this game. Again, 9-9. Oh, an unfortunate error that we see right there for Seattle on the centering pass.
And DC with a great opportunity for a break to go up to 10 in the red zone. Walking to the disc, setting up. Calm, cool, and collected. You got to take a deep breath and go to work right now if you're DC Rogue. Inside shot, just sailing out of their hands.
Excellent defense from Gabby Peyoyo on Seattle. She was staying tight to that isolated cutter, which forced that inside shot that was just a little bit too far for the DC Rogue player.
Abby, I'm getting so nervous. Oh my gosh, the clock is ticking down. The players are working so hard. It's a game of inches, and it's just floating up high. Can Gabby go get it? What a great find. Multiple people streaking deep. There looks like a call on the play. They're calling it up or down. They're going to discuss on the field.
Again, for those of you tuning in who haven't watched that much Ultimate in the past, it is a self-refereed sport. We're going to get another look at this play from Gabby Peyoyo. Difficult to see if the disc hit the ground, but it looks like the players talked it through. The disc is going to stay with Gabby as she swings it back to Shanti.
And a great run through deep by the Rogue player. I mean, we've been seeing this pressure this whole time, this person defense pressuring the throws, and the windows are so small. Fantastic D by Kate to run through and get that D and give Rogue another chance in their end zone to go ahead and get this break.
Yeah, excited to see. They're in their vertical stack right now. Excited to see how they can get this disc into the end zone. Oh, fantastic handler D from Seattle right now. Stall count is rising, able to find a player downfield. Kate Marston showing that she's not just going to get the D, she's going to go out there and grind those yards for her teammates.
Hammer to the corner. Oh, and the footwork is in. Great play by DC. What a great hammer shot, and then also to have the concentration to pull it in and also get your footwork in. You can tell that the crowd is getting amped at this moment.
Number 14, Taylor Smith, able to reel in that hammer to this close front corner of the end zone. A fantastic play, an interesting shot. We saw the scuba earlier from Seattle. Now we see the hammer to close out the game. Washington, D.C. Rogue able to take the victory in this game here today.
9-9, hammer to the corner as the buzzer goes. I don't know if you can ask for a more exciting game. You know, you could really tell that this game was about cutter to cutter, really a great big deep shots. Not only when Seattle went zone, Rogue was still taking that deep shot, but Rogue doing an amazing job with their side stack of like gaining 20, 25 yards, which also creates an opportunity for them to shoot deep. The heat was a factor only in the sense that just kind of making sure that people took time and rested. Maybe the game got shortened just a little bit, but each point felt so valuable. Swinging back and forth and then just trading and trading, throwing different break punches left and right. 10-9, you really got to showcase the amazing play from both programs here in Seattle. I am just so amped. I love the hammer to the corner with the great footwork. There's so many things about that. The athletic jump plays too, the second chance efforts. But then not only are the highlights really fun to watch, but I really appreciate just kind of these like little fundamentals that make the game so difficult and really such an enjoy to watch with the marks. The hard-nosed team defense, person defense on both sides, where you saw multiple high stall counts, the tough inside breaks that had to happen, or the round breaks that had to happen. Both teams showing a lot of heart in this hot weather. We really want to give a big shout out to everyone that makes this tour possible, to make sure that everyone out here is having a great time. Not only all the parents and all the fans that came out, but all the sponsors that really make and shown us so much support throughout this tour. 5 Ultimate, Cut Camp, Spike Ball, all the Got Your Back Seattle teams, Fulcrum Media, Game Point Performance, Friction Gloves, and Aria Disc. It's really a community that makes this possible. There's so many individuals that work so hard to make sure that Youth Ultimate gets provided. I also want to shout out David Souls. I know a big organizer here in the DC area who's been working really hard to make sure that Youth Ultimate and different tournaments, different camps, leagues all get put on. It's really these individuals and companies that really make sure that we share our ultimate values and program, not only for this generation, but so many generations to come. We're going to go down to the field for our ARIA player of the game. Abby Abramovich is right there with her.
Thank you to everyone who has been tuning in for this incredible game between Seattle and Washington, D.C. I am here with the ARIA player of the game, Cece Collinson from D.C. Rogues. Cece, congrats. You've earned ARIA player of the game because of your incredible abilities on the field, but also your spirit of the game. The fans want to you so far.
I would say that Ultimate's just been a huge part of my life, and probably the biggest thing I've learned so far is that you don't have to take away community in order to have competition and vice versa. Ultimate showed me that you can be friends with your teammates and that the best type of competition is one where everyone is doing their best but also maintaining that respect between each other.
That's an incredible answer. Cece, congrats, ARIA player of the game. Thank you to all the fans who were tuning in. Please stay tuned. We have another game coming right at you. Please stay to watch the boys game coming up.